Have you ever thought about having a milkshake from McDonald's for breakfast? Well, neither have I. But if you just watched the video that I asked you to watch before class today, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Clay Christensen, who was a professor at Harvard, was approached by McDonald's to help them innovate and help them improve the sales of the milkshake. Clay Christensen was one of the superstars of business consulting, but unfortunately, he passed away in 2020. He'll be greatly missed. Of the milkshake, Clay and his team knew right away that, hey, McDonald's has tons of data. He actually says in the video they have data up the kazoo, but they're still missing something. And the thing that they're missing is actually communication with the customers. Not focus groups, but actual real communication. So he and his team sat at McDonald's from open to close and took tons of notes about what was happening. And that's when they started to notice this crazy milkshake phenomenon. But what they needed to do is how could they extract the information that they actually wanted from the customers? And that's where he's a genius. He came up with the idea of what job are you hiring the milkshake to do? And that was what was groundbreaking. So in the video, he asked the people, what did you hire instead of a milkshake to get the job done at 6:30 in the morning? And so one customer said, I hired donuts to do the job, but I can never hire just one. Another one said, I do bagels, but they're dry and tasteless. I have to try to put on the cream cheese while I'm steering my car, and obviously that's not the best situation. Another one said, I hired Snicker bars to do the job, but I felt so guilty I couldn't hire Snickers again. The last one said, I hired a banana to do the job, but it doesn't do the job well. It's gone in like less than a minute, and then I still have to go all the way to work with nothing to do. So it was basically being consumed as a breakfast meal, but not in the idea of breakfast that we think of breakfast. It was more like being consumed because it gave them something to do and it kept them full and it was easy, right? And so it was checking a bunch of different non-traditional boxes. And the reason we talk about this and we discuss this situation is because you should be doing the same thing with your business when you get an internship, or if you're an entrepreneur, or when you graduate and you get a job, and you should be thinking about, why are consumers actually buying our products? Because a lot of times, as the person on the inside, we think, well, of course they're using the product because this is the way we designed it. But in reality, oftentimes the product is being used in a very different way that was very unexpected. And the only way to figure that out is to truly talk to customers and understand what job they're looking to solve, right? And then you can take the steps to maybe tweak your marketing or potentially tweak your product and hopefully open up massive doors that allows you to speed past the competition. So I'm going to give you one more example. And if this is a different example about painting actually. So a few years ago, there was a paint manufacturer, a company that actually produced the paint, right? They were looking for ways to improve their business. So they started thinking, well, we need to learn more about our customers. Their customers were contractors and painting companies. And what they did throughout this time was they were able to learn that, most painting companies, only 15% of their expenses was going towards paint. The rest was all towards labor. And the reason for this was because that most people would go to a house in the morning, they set up all the painting stuff, right? They cover everything and the ladders and all that. They paint the house, they leave, they come back the next day, they paint the house, they pack it up, they go home, they do it again the next day. And maybe you could try to say, well, why can't you do two in one day? Because you'd have to pack it up, unpack it, repack it, unpack it, repack it. You need to drive somewhere at lunchtime. The odds that you can get two houses in the same area are very, very slim, or else you have to get double sets of stuff. And it's not convenient, it's not realistic. And so because of these problems, you're only doing 2, maybe 3 houses a week. That's it. So what the paint manufacturer thought was, what if we make paint that can be done 2 times in one day? Now you're doing 5 houses a week. So instead of going 2, maybe 3, now you're doing 5. That's drastic. So the paint company, the manufacturer then, was said, well, we can increase the price of our paint by 40%. But you know what? The contractors and the painting companies will buy it with a huge smile on their face because they're doing 5 houses a week instead of 2 houses a week.
So this is a massive win-win for everybody. This is just another example of knowing who your customers are, knowing what their pain points are and what their desires are, their wants and their needs. And once you know all of this, you can work together to build a perfect product that's going to solve their needs. And that is what marketing is about. It's never about exploiting people. It's always about win-win. And that's why market research is the backbone of every successful marketing campaign and ultimately every successful product, right? So again, thank you so much for taking the time on your day to watch our videos. New videos coming up next week. Thank you so much for everything. Have a great day. If you ever have questions, just let me know. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.